Welcome to the spot. It's time to ignite. Oh yeah. Operation Hangout. The feeling's just right. Chilling with the crew. We're ready to groove. Opinions flying high. Come on, let's move. Woo! Hang out all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Pull up a chair, let's get in the zone. Voices blending smooth like a funky trombone. Oh yeah. Topics from the heart, making us think. With a twist and a shout, raise up your drink. Cheers! Hang out all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Bring it down, shake it up, feel the beat. With every word we share, the circle's complete. Living loud, think it proud, that's what we do. Oh yeah. Join the club, come on through, we're waiting for you. Alright. Hang out all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Hang out.
In the ring we stand tall, words are blades that never fall. Debate like warriors brave, every thought we give and save. Through the noise we cut clean, spirited minds sharp and keen. With a spark that lights the night, join us in this epic fight. Welcome to the sports in our arena, where minds clash and thoughts gleam. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. Buckle up and take your stance. In this arena there's no chance to escape the vibrant lore. Dive in deep and search for more. From heartfelt talks to fierce debates, we explore what fate creates. Side by side we seek the light, in the dark our minds ignite. Welcome to the sports in our arena, where minds clash and thoughts gleam. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. Heard. Will be heard. Will be heard.
What is going on, everybody? We're back at another stream, another live. You know where you're at. You're at Spartan Institute Network. I am your host, the Spartan, aka Peter. How is everybody doing tonight? I want to get a big shout out to Greg's in the house already. We have an interesting show tonight. The topic is going to be, what my topic here is. I must be working be great. Money versus happiness. That is a big debate in for a while because can money buy happiness? Or can you say confidently, you don't need money to be happy? I have a mixed feelings behind this because happiness is something you cannot buy sometimes. It's something you have to earn. But be comfortable and not worry about bills is definitely a helper in that situation. Before I go on, guys, I don't know about you guys, but I am sweating my ass off right now. I don't know everybody's where is watching this, but in my area in PA, it's 75 degrees right now. And I am drenched in sweat already. Left to work, drenched from work, sweat, and I'm getting drenched. I took a shower already, and I'm already drenched. As much as I want the summer, Mother Nature needs to pick one or the other, hot or cold, not both. But anyway, I do think money does help you, but it does not make you happy, if that makes sense. It's a balance. You cannot chase the money. You have to earn the happiness. It can go either way. Having financial freedom does relieve a lot of stress, does let go a lot. And that is a thing most of us don't have these days. It's going to be a argument almost about this. Money can be a root of all evils, but happiness is a root of happiness, if that makes sense. We all fall down, we all have to get up. It's part of life, it's part of the journey. So, chasing the money to be happy, I don't think it's the way to do it. I think it's the wrong way to do it. Finding happiness without the money, that is the way to do it. Whatever that is, if it's you just work on your car, find the woman that makes you happy, the getting a tattoo, streaming, whatever. If you find those happiness moments, hang on to them, hold them dearly to you. My happy place, if you want to call it that. Yeah, everybody has that their own little happy place they go to. I get a chance to visit my happy place once a year because that's the time I have no stress about in life. I can let go of everything and relax. That's it. Relax. And I'm talking about when I go visit my buddy CQ. That is my Zen time. Because I don't have to get up early. I don't have to walk the dog. I don't have to worry about mom. I don't have to worry about work. I don't have to worry about nothing. I can just go on vacation and relax. And the best part, the funny part is it costs me $100 round trip. So to my answer, does money equal happiness? The answer is no to me. a it's a balance. So let's see some of his comments here. Okay. I have my days mixed up. Uh, I shut up. Was Monday? Nope, it is Tuesday. No, you cannot. This is old age. Yeah. Okay. Hey Eric, what is going on? I got my happy place. I just hang the wife, and I'm happy. I'm assuming you mean hanging out with the wife. It's a few comments shows you example. Happy moments does not equal need to drop money. Happy moments mean just hanging out with your friends, hanging out with your buddies, cracking a beer, sitting around the fire, relaxing, doing nothing. And that is the happy moments, the relaxed moments, the time you just chill. The debate tonight is, does that money help you be happy? That's debatable. That's debatable. Because I don't think money is the answer to all evils. Yes, it's better to be stress free to be happy, knowing, hey, I don't have any bills to worry about. I don't have to stress about this. But unfortunately, in this world we live in today in 2026, it's not a lot of people are debt free. You're gonna have some kind of debt. A car, a cell phone bill, a credit card bill, a mortgage. Those are debts. The rent. So do you really think money has the answer to it? I don't think so. I don't think so. If you had to pick one or the other, which one would you pick? Money or happiness? I'll pick happiness. Can you buy happiness? The other question is. No, I don't think you can buy happiness. Happiness is something you cannot buy or chase. It needs to happen naturally. It has to happen naturally because it's not real. It's fake then. It's something that you don't earn or agree with. If you pay people to hang out with you, is that really friends? Think about what I'm saying. If you pay people to hang out with you, are they real friends? All right, Eric's saying, my happiness right now is at the moment is pear, Gonzala, and piece out. Oh, Jesus Christ, food. I just get off work, dude. I don't want to talk about food. I've been doing that shit all day. So how much happiness depends on financial situation. It does a lot. I'm not denying that part. I don't know deny, excuse me, financially, money has something to do with it. That part I'm not denying that. But I am denying is you can buy the happiness to make yourself happy. I will say money does make you comfortable. That I'm not going to disagree one bit. It definitely does make you comfortable. I've seen people with less money make it happen. I knew this kid. I worked with him. At the time, I wasn't even a chef. I was just a cook, and he had no cares in life. And at times, he was homeless, meaning he lived in a tent by the lake, and he was happy. I've never seen that kid stressed out. The only time I saw him stressed out is once, and he said, "That's not me, bro. I don't stress. I have zero cares in life." And that is happiness. I have zero cares in life. But that is rare, very rare to be able to do that. I'm not denying, finding the right woman. having your kids, seeing your kids grow up, going through high school. Those are happy moments. I was able to visit my father over the weekend, and my father did not know I was going to see him. That's the funny part, because I spoke to him that morning before I left for New York. I live in PA. He lives in New York, so I spoke to him like, "What are you doing? I'm day off, or blah, blah, whatever." Like I'm off weekends now, and the issue of me visiting where he's at, the facility he's at right now, is parking. New York's parking is always bad, but that place is horrible. A couple months ago, I drove about half hour trying to find parking, and I could not find one spot. Not even one. That was the pain in the ass part. So this time, let's say I made arrangements to make sure I had parking. Unfortunately, in my case, the arrangements went through. I was told you can park behind the facility. We have parking for visitors. When I got there, it says staff only. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. So I drove around, back around the facility, and I just happened to be a car pulling out. I wanted, boom, that's my opportunity. I grabbed that spot fast as I can. Got in there, signed in, went up the elevator to the fourth floor. I walked in. He was laid out. I slapped his foot. Not hard, just a little tap to wake him up. He jumps up. He looks at me and goes, "What the hell are you doing here?" I'm like, "Gee, thanks, Dad. I'm here to visit you." In a way, I know he was happy to see me. And it didn't cost him nothing to be happy. That is the biggest debate. Let me see what the guys are, because I'm curious now. I'm really curious what everybody. Let me ask you guys in the comments. What do you guys think? Money versus happiness. Which one would you guys pick? Which one is more important to you guys? Making some dough or being happy with your loved ones? Put it in the comments, guys. Seriously. Like I said, I pick happiness. Let's be straight up here, guys, for a minute. When it's time to meet our maker, when we get put in the ground, we're not going to be bringing the money with us or any of that stuff. It's just one of those things. You know what? I forgot to send the link to one person. I need to send it to him. I'm slacking tonight, guys. My bad. Where is it? There we go. Greg, I apologize. I never sent you the link. I actually want to see your opinion on this tonight. So, as I was saying, when are we going to be put into the ground? We cannot bring this with us. Oops. My bad. But we cannot bring the money with us. We cannot bring our materials with us. We cannot bring our cars. You know, you might have like 3 cars. Yeah, listen, I have my own little habits. Like, if you see back here, right here, you can see some of my collections. My weakness is going to New York Comic Con. I love going to New York Comic Con because you get to meet a lot of interested people. I'm not talking about people just who go to cons. I'm talking about the actors, the wrestlers, the writers. When you get a chance, you actually meet your heroes or people you enjoy reading about and all this stuff at New York Comic Con. And I had the privilege to meet some interesting people over the years. Man, I remember meeting Mick Foley. Man, that was awesome. That made me very happy. JDF. From you guys who know JDF, he's JC David Frank. Unfortunately, we lost him a few years ago, but he's known as the White Ranger, aka Tommy Oliver. Grew up as a huge fan. Man, made my day meeting him, shaking his hand. I was nervous as shit. I'm not gonna lie. Made it Trish Stratus. I used to joke around with people like Trish Stratus is gonna be my wife one day. Guess that never happened. But that made me happy. My weakness is collecting autographs. It doesn't mean anything to a lot of people. Piece of paper, a picture maybe, a little ink on it. But it means a lot to me. I know I cannot bring that to me once my time comes. Yeah. But yeah, Eric, we're definitely going to New York Comic Con this year. It's going to be another blast. So, guys, I'm gonna give you a little background on what Eric is talking about. I always say a team. The team involves a few people to make this show run correctly and produce correctly. I am obviously the CEO of Spartan C Network. I produce and run 90% of the shows. Not all of them. Actually, more 80, I would say. So right now, I run and produce myself Spartan Arena, Operation Hangout, Wrestling Talk, and partially 50-50 with Paul in the gray area. Now, with the other two shows that are on a break right now, I help produce them, but I don't run them. Is the Training with Gen X, Coach, and Paul run that show. I help produce it, meaning I help them, do their thumbnails and all that stuff. Now with Straight Talk, Straight Understanding, Sean comes with the idea, I produce it, he runs it. At times, I need to run in the background, and I do. But without these guys, I cannot do this. So, by that said, what is Eric talking about Comic Con this year? He's looking forward to it. Very simple. Is I bring the guys to Comic Con every year because it's. Hang on one second. Because that's my way to say thank you for the guys. So this is on a volunteer basis. We don't make money off this yet. Keyword yet. Eventually, one day, I'd like to make this a full-time living for all of us. Because we do enjoy what we do. It's something we like to do. And that's the goal. I'm not saying the money is going to make us happy doing this. Turn the camera makes us happy. And doing this, talking to you guys. But unfortunately, somehow, the equipment has to get paid for. That's where money comes from. All right. My guys are running a little late, but let's continue talking about this. There is so many ways. They always say, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. Man, I have a hard time believing that one, personally. I think it's a little bit of bullshit. Because you need to work hard to love what you do, I think. Because you can work your ass off and still love it. But that is the problem. You work hard, you love what you do, you never work a day of life. I don't agree with that statement. I think you work hard and you love what you do, I think. I do believe in you work hard and play hard. I do believe in that because there's some fun moments because you can work hard and play hard. But you can tell me, but Pete, you said you don't care about money. Yeah, I don't. Doesn't mean I have to spend money to play hard. I can go out and sit outside, play on a dog, hang out with friends. How many times I have just chilled next to the fire with a couple beards? It can cost us almost nothing. Yeah, I'm not saying you're going to spend little money, but it's something we all enjoy. Something fun, enjoyable. A lot of people like going to wrestling matches. They're fun. My thing is New York Comic Con. Yeah, I just spend money on that. I'm not denying that. That thing is not free, unfortunately. But if you think about it, I only spend money on once a year on myself. I think that's not bad at all. It's something that we all enjoy. But that's a team building too. Again, like I said before, I can't do this by myself without you guys, the fans, the supporters, guys hitting the sub button, the watch hours. Can't do it without you guys. So that is why this is so important. But guys, do me a favor. If you guys are your first time here, please do me a favor. S- Uh, sure, Sean. I'll send you the link right now. Do me a favor, guys. Make sure you hit the like and sub button. And it will help us so much. All right, let me send this link to my man Sean. All right, and all right, go here. Go, Sean. I just sent it over, my man. You should have it in a minute. It's so many different factors. All right, let's see what Eric says. It's very fine line, but if you can work at doing something you love, it's better than the being miserable and bitter in a environment and stuff. All right, let's get my guy Anton in the house. All right, wait. Do that again for me. Just do that for 1 minute. Go ahead.
What's
I'm
going
that's
on, Peter?
your new intro coming in here now.
Thanks. What's going on, man?
How you good doing, my man?
Sorry about the
You
tardiness.
straight?
No, we got a lot going on this end right now, unfortunately.
Everything okay? You don't have to say. You don't have to share. I'm asking if everything's okay.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna share it because I feel like if I let it out, I'll be okay. But
Please go
it's
ahead.
also going to be kind of like a PSA for anyone that's listening. My sister-in-law is currently in the hospital.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, and she was suffering from breast cancer. And even though she had a double mastectomy, she let it wait a little bit longer than she was supposed to, and unfortunately spread to her lungs, her brain, and they found it in the spinal fluid, and it was messing with her short-term memory. My wife and I and my other sister-in-law went to go see her Friday. Found out how it really messed with her short-term memory. Got her to the hospital, and unfortunately, we found out Sunday that they're not sure what they could do. And then yesterday, we found out that as bad as it was, as much as it spread, they couldn't do anything about it. So they're basically trying to make things as comfortable as possible. They said that she may have days or weeks. And today, now we're finding out that this might be it. And I just rushed my wife back to the hospital with, she's there with two of her sisters. My wife's the oldest of 10, and two of her sisters are with her. And basically, for the last few days, a lot of the family has come through, visiting and everything else to see her, to say their goodbyes. Um, it's rough. It's rough because my one daughter, she's 11, was in tears, and even though she's kind of dealt with death when I lost my best friend, this is the first time seeing it up close. And she basically says, "I don't want to lose my best friend." and it's real tough. I was just talking to my brother, and I was just talking to my parents earlier about it. So
Um,
it's tough.
yeah,
It's real
I'm gonna
tough.
cut you off for a second here. For you guys who have not been following the channel long enough, my mother suffers from stage 3 colon cancer. So this sort of hits me very, very personal right now because cancer's a bitch. I'll be straight up. It's a
Yeah,
motherfucker.
yeah,
Research I have done overseas, you can say it's a political, you can say it's a spirit theory, you can think whatever you want. But overseas, they have proven that it is a cure to cancer. The reason they don't use it, and I worked for pharmacies before, I was contracted through another company. I'm not going to say the name of the company. I was one of the cooks at the cafeteria, and I talked to the CEO. The reason they don't use it is because what makes more money?
the
Treatment,
treatment.
all one shot. Fuck you to that.
Yeah,
Not you, Anton. Not you.
yeah. No, I know. I get it, Peter. Trust
Yeah.
me. I lost, I lost a friend, a college friend of mine, long time back to breast cancer. She was only 27 years old. I lost two uncles to prostate cancer, and my dad had a early onset prostate cancer. And ironically, I ended up with a case of skin cancer. So, and luckily, it was not to the point where it spread, but you
You
know,
caught it earlier enough.
caught it early enough. Yeah, caught it early enough to where they had to literally carve a chunk out of my finger. Caught and caught it early enough for my dad to where just he celebrated his 85th birthday
Mhm.
back in January. So I tell a lot of people, get checked. Do not be afraid to get checked, no matter what. Don't be scared. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. Get checked out, fellas.
You're right, right about that because my mother, when she was getting symptoms of something's going on with her stomach, they told her we need to do a colonoscopy. I'm not, oh fuck you, you're not putting shit up my ass, blah 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 blah. But if she got checked earlier, there would have been a very simple cure. Go in, cut the little bit of if it's stage 1, they go in and cut whatever cancer it is, and they get rid of it. Simple as that.
Yeah, people don't realize like how just the sooner you find out, you'd be surprised how much you avoid. And that's the best way I can put it. Like I'll tell
Yeah.
anyone, like fellas, there's nothing that doesn't make you less of a man. If you get checked for prostate cancer.
Nah.
Doesn't make you less of a man.
Makes you more than a man, I think.
Yeah, because you're addressing it.
Yeah.
Plain and simple, ladies, get yourself checked.
So I will say
Especially if
this
it's
to
in
you
your
right now.
family.
I'll tell you right now. Anytime you have my personal number, anything you need, just give me a call.
Thanks, I
I
appreciate
can do what
that.
I can. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Trust me.
And I think anybody on this team will say the same thing. But let's get Sean in here a second. Sean, long time no see, my man. How you been?
That's good, Sean.
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? How you doing? First off, my prayers go out to you and your family. And
Thanks, appreciate
as
it.
Peter said, anything you need, please feel free. If I can provide, I will extend.
Thanks, I
But yeah,
appreciate
other
that.
than that, oh, no problem, absolutely. Other than that, I've been well, man. I've been refreshed, been revitalized, rejuvenating, very creative. I'm enjoying life right now. How's everybody? How you two doing?
Taking it one day at a time
Buddy,
right now. Making
yeah,
the best
I'm
of
sweating my ass
the
off. It's hot
best.
up here.
Yeah,
Where
it's a
you?
little bit warmer than I
What's
thought.
what's the weather?
75 right now up here.
Yeah,
Get out of here.
yeah, it
I'm
was
on my way to New York over the weekend. My daughter's getting married. Well, having
great.
her
Congrats,
ceremony.
man.
Congrats. Yeah.
Thank you.
Over
Yeah,
the weekend, unfortunately, it's going to hit down in the negative 30s again. Just saying, you're going to be back in the 30s. So you come
it's
back
all
to
good.
cold
I'm
weather.
prepared either way. I'm prepared
It
either
got
way.
warm, but
It's
it got a
all
little
good.
bit warmer than expected today. I was like 81, 82. What?
I was in the kitchen all day. I'm like working and working. I'm like, why is it so freaking hot in here? And I've been having issues with my vents anyway. I'm like, it's probably the vents. And my customers are coming like, man, it's so beautiful out there that you gotta go check it out. I'm like,
Yeah, like the cherry blossoms are already coming in right around my way too.
yeah, all
Wow,
right, let's
you got a cherry blossom?
Yeah, we live in I live in New Jersey, and surprisingly we got more cherry blossoms in DC. Don't get that twisted. One of the parks around here has a very large collection of cherry blossoms. It actually has a larger collection of cherry blossoms than the National Mall in DC. And
really.
Wow.
usually every year around this time is the Cherry Blossom Festival. It's supposed to be starting up this weekend, and already some of the cherry blossoms are starting to turn pink, and some of them, and it looks like a few of them starting to turn white as well. So I tell people, like, if you want to catch them now.
Hmm.
Wow, that's a beautiful thing. Do you
Yeah.
take pictures every year or?
Yeah, I tend to take pictures. I send them to some friends of mine that I grew up with here in Jersey. Like one of my buddies is in the that's also in the army. I think he's in Colorado now. He still has family here, so every time the cherry blossoms come out, I'll take pictures and send it to him and everything else. He's like, "Damn, I gotta make a trip back." I was like, "Yeah, man, you're missing a
Okay, is
lot."
that South Jersey or North?
North Jersey,
Oh wow.
I'm
Okay.
like 20 minutes from the city.
Okay, cool, cool, cool.
Oh, you're pretty close to the city. I didn't realize how close you were.
Yeah, I'm in Essex County, bro. I'm like right
Yeah.
there. Like
Yeah,
I
you
take my
like
daughter
right.
to school. I can take my daughter to school, and you can see the skyline.
Oh, nice. All right,
Wow.
let's get Greg in here really fast. Greg, what's
So,
up, man?
so Craig,
You're muted.
Craig, you're mute.
Muted. Check your mic.
Fuck.
The mute monster got him finally. You better mind it.
Yeah.
I've been around Pete too much. He's making me feel old, and I'm actually only a month older than him.
That's
You kiss my
hilarious.
hairy Greek ass.
That's definitely true.
Pause.
Fuck you guys. All right, guys, let's get into it. All right, so the show tonight we're talking about money versus happiness. I'll let you guys have your opinions on it. I'm gonna also follow up with a question right away. Is if you had to choose money versus happiness, and you only can choose one for the rest of your life, which one do you pick? Anton, you want to go first? I could come back to Anton. Sean, you want to go first?
Okay, I've had that choice, and happiness is the answer.
Mhm.
I know too many people with money who aren't happy. I mean, I know very rich people who are miserable. You know, their bills are paid, and you know they have fun times, but deep down, their soul is challenged at times, and not everyone, but I see more often than not. So, absolutely, money over. I'm sorry,
Happiness.
happiness over money.
Yeah. Greg, you're up, my man.
Mate, I'd choose happiness any time of the week. I really would over money. Alright. I used to choose money. As you know about my past already, Pete, I'm not going to repeat it on your channel because of certain parts. But
You don't have to share.
but I chose happiness, which was marrying my wife 13 years ago, and I've been happy. I've been happy ever since. You were saying about your special place. When I was saying about HUG, yeah, that's called hug. Yeah, basically hugging my wife, and that's my happy place. Yeah, so when I feel unhappy or whatever, I just hug my wife. Yeah, does it make any sense?
Yeah, it makes 100% sense. Personally, again,
Or
I'll go with you guys. I pick happiness over money. Like I said in my opening dialogue when you guys, I don't think money makes you happy. You cannot buy happiness. You cannot buy your friends. It does make you comfortable. I'm not denying that one bit. Because as men, let's be honest, we stress about money, the bills get paid, and all this stuff. If you do have, you are a little more less stressed out. Let's be honest there. But it does not buy you the happiness and the love you need in your life. Any pushback on that from you guys?
No, as I said, I choose happiness over money any day of the week.
Okay.
Yeah, but you also got to think that money also helps towards certain things like providing stuff for your family, providing stuff for you and your missus, providing stuff to make sure you're alive. So you got to kind of mix it up a little bit, haven't you?
All right.
Absolutely. And the provision, one thing about provision, a lot of people equate it to finances, and it's not only finances. There's a lot of things you provide. Like, for example, Craig, you just mentioned that you provide your wife with comfort, and she provides you with comfort when y'all give each other hugs. And that provision is a lot more valuable often than some of the financial provision. You know, we have a lot of people who are financially provided for and are entitled, spoiled brats, you know, and that lends to bad character, lends to manipulative, often selfish people. And that's what I see in that. And to your points, yes, money, finances does help out and you know, and beneficial. So I'm not saying you don't need it, but if there was a choice of one or the other, like I said, I've made that choice literally. I've been in the music industry and I had to leave the music industry because it's a shallow, sinister, diabolical industry at times, and it will take me to places and spaces that I just wasn't, you know, comfortable in. I got in the music business to get out of the streets of East New
Mhm.
York, and I found out that I, I might as well have just stayed in New York and stayed in the streets in several different occasions because it was just as, if not more, diabolical and sinister. And I saw myself getting triggered to act on some of those ways. So I chose to leave it. I chose to bow out, you know, take a break at times and sometimes just leaving in general. Now I can enter it because I understand it differently. But back then I didn't understand it as well. And you know, the code of the of business and money and that whole scenario is much worse than the places that I had been introduced to when I was just searching for happiness.
And that's funny you said the streets because people on the streets always want to get out of the streets, but the problem is they don't know how to because they think getting the money is the right way to do it, and if they figure out, oh, I'll do X, Y, and Z is the answer, and sometimes it's not the answer. The answer is you know just getting off the street. Simple as that. Hey, John, you ready to come on?
Yeah, I'm ready. I had to take care of something for my brother-in-law. That's all.
All right.
We'll get.
So did you hear my first question or no?
No, I got a chance to catch it before I left.
Okay. So my one
Great.
just do your opening thoughts. Go ahead, Greg.
Anton, I
What's
hope
up?
your brother gets well soon, brother.
It's actually my sister-in-law, but thanks.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I wasn't really because I was doing
No, that's
multiple
okay.
things.
Thanks. No, thanks,
I
Craig.
hope
I
they get better.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
I
Sorry.
appreciate that. Thanks.
So opening thoughts of money versus happiness, and the first question follows up with that. If you had a choice between rest of your life, money versus happiness, which one would you pick and why?
I go with happiness
Okay.
simply because peace of mind, staying grounded, and that happiness will motivate me to make money. That happiness will motivate me to do a lot of other things as well. So that's I'll take happiness because people are surprised what you can do with peace of mind. And I got a visitor here.
Oh,
So, yeah, single there.
all
My
right.
youngest.
So the final question I'm gonna have for you guys is: would you rather be rich and lonely, or broke and be around people that love you and support you?
Can you repeat that question, sir, when you
Wow.
come to
Sure.
me, bro?
Would you pick rich and lonely, or broke and be around people that love you?
I would go for the second option.
Same
And
here.
why?
I'll be rich and lonely. But go ahead.
Hey, you had to be that one, huh, Sean?
Man,
Yeah.
man. Because broke and with people who love you does not eliminate their requirements and needs. And man, oh man, that being broke and having them around could be just as strenuous as um, being lonely and rich.
I think the reason why I picked broke and the reason I said broke and have people around you that makes you happy, they could be that motivator to be rich. They could be that motivation to put in that work, to put in that time to make sure that you get paid. I remember at my job, one of the things that I remember a lot of people used to keep on their lanyards with their IDs were pictures of their families, pictures of their kids most often. That motivation of why you're working those 8 to 12 hour days, working those 60, 70 hours a week, 6 days a week, Sometimes you need that motivation to push you to go from being broke to being rich, or from being broke to being in a position in a situation to where you're comfortable financially.
Well, but you got to realize when you ask me that question, rich means you don't need to work. So there isn't a motivation to have to work, because you're already rich. And that's the,
One-
interesting dilemma. And when you're rich, having people is not a hard thing. If you ever want people, you can afford to have people around, and those who you love as well as those who you don't. The reason why I said happiness over money is because when you do have money, just that you don't know who wants you for that, and you don't know why they're around you, and that's a difficult situation to navigate through. If in fact that's what you're looking for is genuineness and people who actually love you for you.
That's true. I mean, remember in Iron Man when Tony was in the cave with Yusuf, he said it. I mean, what he said, that one line said it all. A man who has everything as well as nothing. A man who
Correct.
has all the money in the world and no one to share it with. And that hits. That's serious when you think about it. Do you want to be that type of person? You got all the money in the world, but you have no one to share it with?
Look at people that we know famous who make money, millions of money. Vince McMahon, he's technically lonely. What's his name? Who owns Tesla? Fuck, what's his name?
Elon Musk.
Yeah,
Elon Musk.
yeah, he's not. He's lonely.
Look how many kids he got.
Doesn't mean he has people around him.
That's true.
When you are when people are around you, the people you're working with only, they're gonna make you hear what you want to hear, not what you need to hear.
Yeah.
Agreed. That's the reason why I said I don't mind being lonely when I'm rich, because having that around you becomes just as draining as having no money with people. It becomes just as draining having a lot of money with no people, because people start draw and pulling at you to try and get the money. So it's six in one hand, a half dozen in the other. But I'd rather pick the six in the hand and a half dozen uh, out, because I feel like, okay, at least I'm fulfilled. And you can easily change things. One person who's rich who told me, and I've pushed back with him often. He said, "Yo, name me one person who died from too much money." And I was like stuck. I was like, he's like, yeah. So all that, money is the root to all evil and all of that. He said, name me one person who died from too much money, who overdosed on money. I said, okay, you got that one. I was quiet. I couldn't name anybody.
I could name one person that's currently locked up because of too much money, but we'll leave it at that.
Well, that's different. That's different. But that's a different scenario. We're
Right.
talking legitimate money. You know
No,
what I
no,
mean?
this is legitimate money,
I don't
but you
know.
get what I'm saying.
Oh, really? Okay,
He just might get it again.
got you.
You only
Well,
have
well, that's not always legitimate. Diddy's not legitimate money because he did a lot of
Yeah,
diabolical
he did some
things that he
cutthroat
got away
stuff.
with.
I watched some of the
Yeah.
documentary, and surprisingly, a friend I graduated high school with actually did work for him at one point, but he no longer works for him. He's now freelance. He was in music and he was a photographer for him, and now he's freelance. He's been freelancing for a minute, and to him, it was like it's too easy to get caught up with that. And another person that another content creator and I know that we grew up with, he was so caught up trying to be Puffy, Puff Daddy, Diddy, P Diddy, Love. He was so busy trying to be these people, he didn't know what it meant to be Sean Combs.
Does have a good point.
And the problem was he kept surrounding himself with people that told him the things he wanted to hear. And all he needed to hear was from one person saying, Sean, you need to stop. And that was the problem with him. And that's how he got caught up. And I remember something that Jay-Z posted on social media. And a lot of people never really caught wind or really paid attention to it. I remember he posted this one saying, and eventually it was deleted. Power in the pause. And that carries a lot of weight because that gave him an opportunity to do one or two things. You can keep doing what you're doing and it's going to catch up to you, or you can stop what you're doing and you have a chance to redeem yourself.
That's why I said when you have money, you hear the yes a lot, or you're doing a great job. When you're destroying your own company, Vince is another good example. A lot of
Yes.
people don't want to hear, and towards the end of his WWE career, let's say, he was screwing WWE up right and left.
Yeah.
But nobody had the ball to say, "Hey, you're fucking up, dude," because you lost the connection with the fans. Now, if you told me 30 years ago, yeah, he had a really good connection. Attitude Era, great example. A
Yeah.
Rufus Era, good example. So I'm going to leave my case there. But if somebody stopped him later, not only that, with the sex scandals too, saying to him, hey, Vince, you really need to get some therapy because
Yeah.
what you're doing is not only illegal by law, you're also fucking up a lot of other people's lives too.
I can think of one person that probably did not have a problem standing up to him and telling him that. I can think of one person.
Who's that?
Mark Calloway.
You think he said something to him?
Probably. I would not be
I'm
surprised.
sure. I'm sure it was more than one person. I'm
But
sure plenty.
I
of
know
people
plenty
told
of
him.
people
But
probably
what we're
have.
speaking
But
to,
the one person that had a lot of weight in that, especially in the locker room, was the Undertaker, because most of the other wrestlers called him Mr. McMahon. Undertaker was one of the handful of wrestlers that can call him Vince.
Maybe the only one too. I never
I
heard
think
anybody
so.
else.
And
Not even Hogan called
Peter
him that, I think.
and Peter knows this because we're big wrestling fans. He ran the locker room and he was in charge of the
Absolutely,
court.
yeah, I'm not disagreeing on it.
Anytime anything went down in the locker rooms, you had to go to court and he would preside over it. He always said, I got this. And I remember a situation where I heard some stories where there was a situation going on in the locker room and McMahon is yelling at him and says, Mark, what the hell's going on? I need to do something. And he said, Vince, I got this. What do you mean? And he said it again with zero hesitation. Vince, I got this.
You know what's funny about that? Even now, when he's technically retired, but when he shows his face in an event, he still becomes the Undertaker, and he still have judge, execution, and jury. That hasn't changed.
and that makes sense. It doesn't hurt that he's 7'2", and so I get it.
And
That makes sense. But what
walking
I was going to say earlier, yeah, and what I was going to say earlier though is that what we're speaking to is not money. We're speaking to power and fame. Those are two different elements that come in and they taint everything around you. That's what Puffy, Vince, those are the things that destroyed them. It wasn't the money, it was the power and fame specifically. They both wanted fame. That's why Vince came to in front of the camera from behind the camera. And once he got a taste of it, he could not leave in front of the camera. He loved the thirst and the the hunger for that fame is ridiculous. And that's the same that happened with Puffy, and the same that happens with many people if you think about it. Elon Musk. I mean, we can go on and on. When you get that fame, the power, money comes with power, and power comes with money, but it's sustainable. But once that fame comes in, that's a whole nother
I will
monster.
agree in a certain point. Reason I say that is because, like wrestlers, I'll use wrestlers for example again. Wrestlers say all the time when they get on stage for the first time and go through that curtain through Gorilla, their adrenaline rush you get is such a high. No drug can give you that. It's such a fast skitch. Yes, they put the buys on the line, but they love doing that. But before we move on, let's get Greg in here because he's been silent. Go ahead, Greg.
Oh no, I was just waiting for you guys to finish.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
Go
There's a
ahead.
movie about a guy who used to be sort of like drunk all the time back in the 80s, right? And he came from a rich family, but he wanted to be with a poor woman, and the entire family cut him off. Yeah, and they tried to make him so uncomfortable, right? Where he moved in with her father, right? They bought the building, but if that guy they had to figure out the name of the guy is on the list. They had to kick him out, or they'd kick the entire family out. They bought up every single business that he tried to work at. Yeah, as a poor man. Do you know the one I'm on about?
I think that's Arthur with Dudley Moore.
That's the one.
Arthur,
That's the
Arthur.
one. I couldn't think of the name, but that was the one.
With
Do you know
Dudley
that?
Moore and
I
Liza
don't know if I've
Minnelli.
seen that. I don't remember if I've seen that one or not. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, it's a brilliant movie. There was two of them. But yeah, it's basically shows you how rich people can be so bloody cruel with money. I would rather be
Understatement.
poor than be rich. Yeah, rich people can it was meant to be set up. Arthur, the guy I was on about a minute ago, he was meant to have a wedding set up and go and marry a rich woman, right? But he decides to go and marry a poor woman and falls in love with a poor woman and actually gets her pregnant in the second one. But the entire rich family didn't want him marrying or being with a poor woman. So they try and cut him off from all the credit cards, the limousines, all the parties, all that sort of thing. They literally cut him off completely. So he tried to go and live like a poor man, right? Working in a workshop, shop selling hardware and that, hardware shop. He tried to live as poor as possible in a one maybe 2 bedroom little apartment in New York, I believe it was. It was filmed. And the rich family bought up the entire building, and Arthur's name was on the list. And if his name was on the list, he couldn't be in the building. Yeah, he had to vacate the building. Otherwise, the two people that were living there, the father and daughter, would be homeless. Yeah, the hardware shop that he was working in, making keys, that sort of thing, very badly, because every time he cut a key, it ended up cutting it way too short.
Oh,
Bit of
God.
comedy, brilliant film.
I haven't seen them. I haven't seen Arthur in a long time. That was one of Dudley
I
Moore's
watched it
best.
last week. But yeah, they bought the hardware store, right?
Mhm.
And he got fired from the job. Yeah,
Yeah, people with money sometimes. You know what it is? There's
they're
a
just
difference
cruel.
between. Yeah, there's a difference, and I remember.
Arthur wanted to be happy,
Yeah,
so he gave all that wealth up so that he could be happy. Yeah, he didn't want to be rich. If it means him losing the love of his life, he was willing to give up that wealth to go and be poor. Yeah. They said they were going to cut him off. He said, "Fine, do it." So I would rather be poor, be with someone I love, than be rich, be brought up by a rich family and have them rule my life, every part of it, right? And be controlling and be like monsters. So yeah, I'd rather be with someone I love and be poor. Me and my partner, for instance, we are poor. Yeah, Peter and a lot of you guys already know I'm poor. Yeah. Um. So I would rather be happy than be rich myself.
Mm. I think also the one thing people don't
Okay, Craig, and
realize.
you're not that poor with that nice mic over there.
That was only 35 quid and I didn't pay for it. It was actually my dad who paid for it.
I'm just messing with you.
Bro, it was actually my father who paid for the microphone, not me. And he can't afford very much because he's currently he's meant to be retiring at 65, but he's now 71 years old and he's still driving a truck.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
There's some people who
So,
don't want to retire. Like my father really didn't want to retire. He wanted to work. He enjoyed
my
working.
dad wants to retire, but he doesn't have a choice in the matter.
And
Yeah,
he has
because
the other
he's currently paying bills. My mum don't want to do nothing because she's a drunk. You already know this, Peter.
Mhm.
Yeah, you already know my history. But my dad has to pay over £1,500 a month for a 2-bedroom flat. Yeah, in something beautiful flat, beautiful area. But he has to keep on paying the flat. So, because my mum don't really pay much because she puts all of her money into alcohol. So, do you know what I mean?
Damn.
So yeah, my dad, yes, he helps me out every now and then when he can afford to, when he's got a little bit of extra cash. Yeah.
Right.
He helps me out, and it ain't very much. So like 20 quid here, 10 quid there, 30
Right.
quid another day, to help me out with a bit of food. But all his money goes into rent on that flat and fuel to go in his car. Currently, right now, he originally had 2 cars. He only has one now, which was basically one that was meant for a show because it used to go for all types of shows.
Right.
And that's currently costing him an arm and a leg. That really is. And he's currently still paying off a massive bill that he just put out on it, which was about £14,000. Right? And having the car rebuilt and all that sort of thing. So he's currently still paying that off. And as I said, he's 71 and he drives a truck 24/7, 5-6 days a week. Yeah, and he doesn't even want to go home because of my mother. But anyway, enough about my family past. But yeah, being rich, not great. Being poor, I would rather be poor than be rich because what it does to people, it changes people. Yeah, you've got flaming, well, even being into rich people, right? You only know who your real friends are if you're poor. If you lose all your money, if you're rich, you can live on the high life, the highest part of your life, right? But there are people who've lost everything from being rich, and they lost everyone. You'll only know who your friends are if they stick around, right? When you're rich, you've got so many people like gold diggers, yeah,
Yep.
especially women who are gold diggers.
You know what that sounds like? That sounds like a book I was reading. I remember reading a long time back. There are three.
Well,
It's called Dream. Check it out, Greg. It's called Dream
yeah,
Making in the Dream Taking World. And the book says there's 3 types of people you're always gonna be surrounded around:
yeah.
dream takers, dream
There's a woman
fakers,
that sits. Sorry, bro.
and
Sorry.
that's okay. And dream makers. The dream takers are the ones that always see the glass half empty. The ones who always are negative. The ones who say you can't accomplish it. That's not possible. You can't do it.
Mm.
The dream fakers are the ones that they say that they're there, and then when things get hard, they disappear. They're ghosting you with no hesitation. Dream makers are the individuals that's always going to be there no matter what. When you're doing good, they're going to let you know you're doing good. Keep it going. When you're doing bad, they're going to let you know, hey, come on now, let's get back on track. Those are the ones who are never afraid to be honest with you. And those are the ones that let you know you're going to stay on goal. Those are the ones that are going to tell you, listen, that's not going to work, but let's try it this way and maybe it will work.
Mm.
And I always
Yeah.
tell people,
As I was just
Stop
saying.
surrounding yourself with dream takers and dream fakers. Start searching and keep yourself around dream makers. And that's basically what it is. And I think because when you have like I was saying before, when you have an income that's residual, generational, who's gonna tell you no?
Yeah. Well, um, you've got a video that a guy does, right? He does shorts on YouTube, and he owns a Lamborghini, right? And he walks up, and there you got this people sitting on a Lamborghini. You got this beautiful woman on a Lamborghini, right? And he's like, "Oh, is this your Lamborghini?" She's like, "Yeah, it is." Right? He goes, "Would you go out with me?" He's like, "No." She's like, "No, get away from me." Because he's from another country, she turns around and told him to go back to where he belongs. Right? But as soon as he turns up, turns on that Lamborghini and gets into it, goes, "Oh," she goes, "It's your Lamborghini. Oh, if you want to take me to me, I'll go on a date with you. I'll be your girlfriend." That sort of thing. Gold digger for a point.
I've never seen videos
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, the gold
Do,
digger
I've
do you
seen
know
them.
the
skits.
one I'm on about? Do you know the one
I
I'm on
love
about?
those
Yeah,
skits.
there's
Yeah,
some other
yes,
ones
yes,
like that
yes.
too. Like,
They have a whole channel that they do skits with pretty much identifying who's the
Yeah,
gold diggers and who's not. So I enjoy it. I look at
and the
them all
ones
the
I like
time.
also are the ones where the people you think that don't have it are the ones that really have it.
yeah,
That one I saw.
Right. And
You finish on?
go ahead. No, I was saying that's kind of what I used to do when I was an artist. I lived across the street
Uh
from a
huh.
club. We had a little penthouse apartment, my brother and I was underage. I was underage. I wasn't even supposed to be in the club, but I would go outside the club, right? And I'll be in the parking lot asking girls or cars, "Hey, can I get a ride home? Hey, can I get a ride home?" And they'll be like, and then I'll walk around the corner and they'll see other people coming around, because we would host after party. They'll see other people coming around. They're like, "Oh, I didn't know this was, oh, I didn't." And I'm like, yo, and that's kind of why my whole mindset is the way it is in reference to happiness versus money, because those are the things that and it's challenging trying to
yeah,
identify that, because you don't know who knows you, especially when you have a little
Right.
limelight. I had people come up to me, "Hey, Sean," and I'm thinking they know me from school or somewhere in the past, and I don't know, and maybe I forgot them. No, I just never knew them.
Right.
I didn't realize it. They knew more about me than I could ever know, and that was a scary thing.
Yeah. Like I remember. Like I got family. I got relatives who were in the music industry. I got you know people I grew up with, people I went to school with, all also involved in either music, movies, television, little things like that.
mm,
And some people don't realize, like, what some of these, like, the one thing is, some of them are some of the most down to earth people you'll ever meet. Like, if you don't approach them as a celebrity and you just approach them as a person, you'll be surprised how much more they're willing to open up to you.
yeah,
Like, for perfect example, um, and I'm not gonna name the town. I was at the YMCA. I'm not gonna name the town I was at, and we've had a good number of celebrities that came through. And I remember going to the family swim. I took my nieces and nephews to the family swim. So I'm in the bleachers. My nieces and nephews in the pool. Situation happened. I hopped over to check to see if everything was okay. Asked this gentleman, "Do you mind keeping an eye on the tablet?" He's like, "Sure, no problem." I went to see if everything was okay. So on and so forth. Once everything was good, I went back into the bleachers and I went to retrieve my tablet. I was like, "Thank you for keeping an eye on it." He says, "My pleasure." I'm like, "Andre Brower, pleased to meet you." Oh, shook his hand, came around, had a good talk. Didn't see him as this actor, this person who's done movies and television. I got to meet him as a husband, a father, a regular person. Had a great conversation with the man and everything else. you'd be surprised how many times if you just meet celebrities and you just see them as a regular person, you could have some of the greatest conversations with them.
Agreed. And now I'm gonna chime in because there's a different types of celebrity. Like for example, the music industry versus the television and film industry. Now, the reason why music is somewhat more challenging at times is because if you think about it, the mentality is without them, there's no show. The show doesn't go on without them. Arrogance and often, dwelling is a lot more bigger than other industries because guess what? Some of the top stars, you'll be replaced in the television or film production. They'll go ahead. Oh, you ain't on time. You wanna? Nah, you're out of here. Whereas people in the music industry, if you're not on time, there's no show, and people are mad, and fans are mad, and so on and so forth. The show can't go on without you, and
Right.
that whole mentality weighs in on how when you meet some of these people, the different personalities that they might have.
Right.
There are exceptions to all rules, of course, but if you think about it, if somebody tells you they love you a million times a day and the world can't or your world can't start without you, that's a different mentality than those who are told we love you and but yet they only working 6 months out of 3 years, and that millions of dollars that they get from that 6 months from that film can sustain them. They don't have to work for another 3 years if they don't want to. So it's a whole different thing. The whole musical, they working every day. Even with
Right.
television, you only working during the season, which is tops uh 3 to 6 months. So it's a big difference when you have that much room to sit back, like you just mentioned, and reflect and pause and not have to do it every day, grinding every day. So music is a different grind, and you have a different type of personality usually.
And you're 100% right about that, Sean, because going to Comic Con, I have met multiple people over the years, actors, voice actors, wrestlers. If you just talk to them like an average Joe, they respect you more.
Yeah.
If you just go to as yourself, not dressing up as a Power Ranger or a wrestler or whatever, they respect you more because you come in as yourself. You can have a great conversation with them. Like I met this one guy. Anton, you might be familiar with this guy. His name is Chris Tanto.
Yeah.
He's the survivor of 13 hours. Great guy. I went there, hear his story. I wanted my book signed, and he recognized I have a tattoo of a warrior's cross. Oh, there you go. So he goes, "Oh, thank you for your service." Like I didn't serve. I have a buddy of mine who passed, and I have a couple of my buddies who are what's the word I'm looking for?
Veterans.
No, oh no, Winter Warriors. And the first thing he goes, "I'm sorry for your loss." He came up, he was talking. Towards the, one part of the conversation, he grabs me, he puts his arms around me, hugs me. And his agent goes, "Dude, you have a line. We have to get going, keep moving." He goes, "I mean, do you have plans after this?" Like, not really. Why? He goes, "Me, do you want to get a beer with me?" He goes, "Sure." On the one condition. He goes, "What's that?" He goes, "I buy the first round because I wasn't driving. My ex girlfriend." He goes, "Fair enough." He goes, and we had one of the greatest conversation I ever had with any individual I ever had. I know it was crazy stories. I can't repeat some of them in here because they're might get striked, but some awesome.
TOS.
I'm sorry.
I said it'd be against TOS.
Yeah, unfortunately, but I get what he's saying.
Yeah. So here's the question that we need to answer tonight. How much does happiness depend on financial situation?
A lot.
Anton?
A significant amount.
Sean?
It's kind of hard to put an actual number, but I say a significant amount.
I didn't
I'll
hear
say
the question.
How much happiness does it depend on your financial situation?
Um, Depends on where you live and how you live.
Hmm.
Here in the States, significantly. We're a
Hmm.
capitalist society, and so therefore, a lot is determined around money and finances. Uh, and possibly other places, let's say the countryside, or places where you can farm, or where it's not as um, driven by capital
Capitalism.
period. Yeah, capitalism. Then you might have a different mentality. I can only speak from what I've been exposed to, and so it's very significant.
See, me personally, I have exposed to two different kinds: the American side of it and European side in Greece. In Greece, they might be struggling financially, but they're still going out for their coffees. They're still going to buy their cigarettes. They're still going to have fun, hanging out, having dinner with the family, friends, family, whatever. And if you ask them, "Hey, what's going on? What about the bills? Like, what's the worst case scenario? They send me a collection. I'll pay it when I got it." That is their response. Imagine having that freedom, like, you know what? The bills are going to be there no matter what. I'm going to have a beer. I'm going to have a coffee with my friend. I'm going to go hang out and see him. Think about that freedom like that.
Hmm. My sister
But
said that
you're
when she
still
lived.
broke. You have maybe in Greece offices euros, and you have a couple
Right.
euros in your name or a couple dollars in your name. That's a different mentality of two different countries.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
I
Greg, do you have
remember.
anything on this? Because I know you live overseas.
Well, yeah. Well, currency's different from America to over here. You already know that. If I'm right, um, if you guys wanted to buy a pound coin from the United Kingdom, it would cost you $1.50. If I'm right. Um, but being poor, it doesn't. It can show you the true colors of people. If you become poor, people leave you. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, as I said, I get like £630 a month, and by the time all my bills have come out, I'm left with £10 a month to live off of.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Um, I have to go to food banks every single week. Yeah. I'm not going to go into politics. I'm just going to say the government messed up the money. Yeah. We've gone from £1,430 a month to 630 a month. Yeah, because they've messed up all the benefit system. Because as you guys know, I gave up work full time work over 10 years ago, right, to look after my wife because of her illnesses. Um, they just kept cutting back, cutting back, cutting back, changing, cutting back, changing, cutting back. Um, so with the state of my country right now, to live off of 630, it's very, very hard. All right, and because of the war between Russia and the Ukraine, um, because we get all our power, gas, all that sort of all our fuel from there, all our prices have gone up.
Mm.
Yeah. Um. Anyway, apart from that, happiness. It doesn't matter if it doesn't matter if you're fucking broke. Yeah. Sorry, my language, Peter. Um. You can still find happiness within next to nothing. Yeah. You don't have to have money. I have no money. There's proof. I am proof. I have no money. Yeah. I'm always broke. All right. Peter already knows this. You guys already know this originally. I told you in the past. Yeah. I have no money, but me and my other half always find ways to make each other happy. Yeah. So you don't need money to make you happy. You need money to survive. There's a big difference. Yeah. Yes, money can help buy gifts for the loved one, the person you really love, and it make you happy to see their smile and see their cute little face see their cute little face crunch up when they're really happy. Um, but I've not bought my other half a gift in God knows how long. All right, and I still make her happy. Even making a bubble bath makes her happy. Yeah.
Mhm.
Because we can't afford to buy the stuff that you put in to make bubble bath. I just use shampoo, and I just get my arm in there and flaming shake it all around to make all the bubbles for her. That makes her happy. Just seeing her happy, that's my light of the day. That's happiness to me.
See, in your case, Greg, you got to think a little bit outside the box. Yes, they lowered the support or whatever you guys call it over there, the help.
Universal credit, government funding, whatever it's called.
Yeah, okay. The funding they got lowered it from 16 to 600
Wow, that's a serious cut.
because think about it. And I think I think you're going to agree with me when I'm saying a lot of people are abusing the system who don't need it,
Yep.
Yeah, unfortunate.
and we have it here right now too.
Yeah.
Like, I know a bunch of people who are driving Beamers, have the nicest shoes and everything, and they're on Section 9 or unemployment or disability. And there's nothing wrong with them. They're very healthy to work.
And they're just abusing it.
Exactly.
And they're abusing it. And then the individuals who could use that assistance are going through the red tape, just trying to get their foot in the door.
I'm a good example of that because when my mother got diagnosed with cancer, I needed help for her medications for that. That shit is expensive. Insurance only pays so much. When I was asking for
May I
assistance,
say something, Peter, please? May I say something, please? You pay for medication over there, but because we're on benefits, we don't have to pay for medication.
I heard about that.
Yeah,
I've heard about
I just
that.
thought I'd put that out there, bro. Sorry.
No. I've heard
I'm
about
gonna get to
that.
that in a second. I want to actually hit that point in 1 minute.
No, I just thought I'd point that out. I'm sorry.
No. It's a good point because I want to address that in a minute. But let me finish my thought, and I'll let you guys speak in. Then I'll jump into that. So, when people abuse the system, like myself, I was trying to get into the system, just not to pay the rent, not to pay the electric bill, none of that. I just needed help to pay her medication. I had to jump through so many hoops and so many red tapes, so many everything. It took me over 6 months to say, now we can talk to you. Not even approve, just to talk to you.
Damn, I can imagine because it's ridiculous here, and what people don't realize, like, you're wondering why people are going to Canada to get the same medication. Oh, you shouldn't do that. No, you can get the same medication in Canada that you could here at a reasonable price. And what people don't realize, and I found this out, in Canada, the government regulates the prices of all prescribed medication.
Most countries, except us, I don't say all of them. I can't say that because I don't know the numbers. I don't know the statistics. Most countries have what like Greg does, universal benefits or universal health care, meaning a percentage comes out of your taxes, whatever the number. I don't know the number.
Right.
And you have insurance. Doesn't matter how many kids, doesn't matter anything. And you really don't pay anything out of pocket. And I agree with that, to be honest with you. And I have gotten arguments. I mean, legit arguments with people. Oh, they're controlling us. This and that. Like, call it whatever the fuck you want. If I know my mother's good and I'm good, you're good, Greg's good, Sean is good, Paul is good, Ari is good, all of us are good in healthcare. Call it whatever you want. I don't give a shit. Because you have universal healthcare. It's not controlling. It's calling it being smart, actually.
All right.
People calling that is because the people want to go backwards in time, I think. Because they get this idea stuck in your head. I'm like, dude, come on.
You know what it is, Peter? I call it the old Cold War mentality.
Okay.
And what I mean by that, and I can say this because I'm a Gen Xer, I remember the time, like, people always saying, socialism is bad, communism is bad, capitalism, democracy is good. But yet the funny thing most people don't realize, places like the United Kingdom where Craig lives, like Greece where you're from, like a lot of parts of Europe. My sister lived in France for 6 years. I got family in Switzerland and Italy. They all have a system set up. And yes, they pay a good amount into it, but they get a lot in return because they pay into it. And if that's quote unquote bad, okay, if that's deemed socialism, how is it that a lot of these other countries have a better life expectancy than here in the United States?
You know what's funny about this? I'm gonna use smoking for example. All right, they're saying smoking is bad for you and all this stuff, right? But those the smokers are less stressed out than anybody else in the world. Cigar
That's
smokers
true.
are more. They are more relaxed than anybody because Churchill lived. I think it was 90 or something like that.
Yeah. I
And
think
he used to do-
92,
yeah,
between
he was
90 and
smoking
92.
cigars to the day he couldn't anymore because of health reasons, and none of them was cigar related.
Git. I fancy a cigar now.
Yes.
Hey,
Bro,
I always love a
I've
good
not had a
cigar.
decent cigar in years, and I would love to have one. Do you know how much they cost? They're so bloody expensive over here.
They're
You
expensive
wouldn't
here
know
too,
how
bro.
cheap it was.
Yeah, they are. And the
And
thing
a
is,
good cigar, a high end cigar, you're looking at between 25 and $30 a pop.
Yes, I know. That's why I've not had one in years. Last one I had was probably around about 8 years ago.
there's a cigar shop not that far from where I currently live. And now that it's starting to get a little bit warmer outside, they're gonna open up, like they got some bay doors, they're gonna open them up. People gonna be sitting outside smoking that stogie. And sometimes when you walk past it, ooh, it smells good. I'll be honest. It's like it's that smell of relaxation.
People would make fun of me this comment. I don't give a shit to be honest. I walk in a shop or
Mhm.
cigar lounge, I love the smell of it, the nice sweet aroma. Because a good cigar, I'm not talking about like the cheap game ones you get from the gas station. Those are garbage cigars. They're re-rolls they call them, or end trims, because whatever's left over from the cigars they use it for the cheap shit. So the good ones, like a Churchill or Permano or Romeo and Juliet, those are good cigars.
Yeah, I've heard about a friend of mine is a real serious smoker.
I am.
He's a big aficionado, and he was telling me about them. Like, and he lives in North Carolina now, but he every now and then he would get together with some friends who also from Jersey that moved
All
down
right,
there. They
have a good
get
night.
together and they'll sit back and just have a smoke.
Anton, question. I know you're not a cigarette smoker. Are you a cigar smoker, in chance?
No, actually, I never tried a cigar.
All right, we got hook up then. All right, guys, let's get this guy in here. He's from a secret location. Let's get my man in here. Please rise for our president.
Ow! I know how much you Americans like that flaming sound of the slap and pain. You guys are
I
cruel
like
and mean and horrible.
You're gonna get me kicked off my platform here, dude.
Pardon?
Well, what is going on? How is the weather? And just tell us update. Give us update. What's going on, bro?
Now things are good. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Coming in
you
real
sound
good.
great.
You're good.
Awesome. Now things are going wonderful so far. We are, certainly, and it's no surprise we're down here in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and yeah, just enjoying it. So starting off season 30, I'm actually off to a good foot, and just enjoying the sights and sounds down here. It's interesting because where we're at, there's been a lot of major development in the area, like T-Mobile basically built an amusement area down here that is just
Are
like
you
tremendous.
serious?
They got a T-Mobile movie theater down here, seats 3,000 people. They got arcades.
Wow.
Imagine playing like your favorite arcade games on an 8-foot screen,
Holy
like the
shit.
original arcade games. Pac-Man, big 8-foot screen, and you're playing it like
I'm
whatever.
drooling just thinking about it.
Bro, I'm sorry, but
It is,
I
yeah.
thought T-Mobile was dead. I thought T-Mobile was dead, man.
T-Mobile is big over here,
I
bro.
guess, I
We used
guess,
to
I guess not.
It's
we
one of
used to have
the biggest
T-Mobile
carrier.
mobile over here.
Well, it's
But they went,
interesting. Here, what we're also seeing down here is all of these franchises and establishments that we thought were out of business. They're down here. There's a Sizzler down here, like right just down the street from my house. There's a
Are you
Sizzler. I thought
serious?
they went out of. I thought they went out of business. Texaco is down here.
No way.
It's like all of these bits that are still. Yeah. So I guess they didn't. Maybe they went after the U.S., but they're still prominent here. It's all just right down the street from my hotel, walk down
It's
and see stuff. We
the
were thinking about going to
Commonwealth.
Sisters just for the nostalgia.
A lot of the Commonwealths are always different than the mainland. I remember going to the Virgin Islands. I'm long overdue, and you be like, things that you're not gonna find here in the mainland anymore. You see it down there, and you're like, no way. You gotta be kidding me. So,
Yeah.
oh my god,
Yeah,
a Sizzler.
So it's pretty.
Yeah.
So it's pretty wild. So it's interesting because I'm kind of just the way my mind works. I'm kind of, and I don't know if this goes into your topic tonight, but I'm kind of torn in that here you see clearly American capitalism like at its finest, right? I mean, they got these big. It's almost like if you ever been to Fremont Street in Vegas, where they got the big screens and the outdoor exhibits and everything. It's like that. It's like a bit. They got the zip lining that kind of goes in and out. So you got all that kind of new stuff down here, new developments. They're building new hotels, and this whole area is being scoped out. And then you still have like the downtown, the old San Juan, which you can still go. We went there today. You can still see some of the historic buildings and structures of that nature. And so if you want some like real mofongo and you want some of the some of the Puerto Rican dishes, you can get it there. But you just wonder sometimes it's like all this investment, right? No one just gives something for nothing. So you're like, what is the cost? Like for the you talk about like gentrification and things of that nature. Are the people giving up something for T-Mobile investing probably billions of dollars literally into this whole area down here? You have to ask yourself, like, what's the price at the end of the day? It's jobs for people, and so all these things, and certainly for the American tourists that's coming in. I mean, they got all kinds of restaurants and just exhibits and stuff. I mean, it's like I said, it's amusement, but you know, are you going to see Puerto Rico necessarily in this area? Not. You're going to have to go to like other parts of the island. Like we're going to a rainforest tour tomorrow morning. So,
Nice.
that'll be more like the authentic stuff. But then you got this way. So you got this, what American capitalism looks like in terms of the buildings and the amusements and everything, very Americana. And then at the same time, you just want some classic, old school, when I go to especially to a foreign country, I want to see and taste, smell the fairs of the country. And so a lot
Right.
of times when you stay in these resorts, it's almost like I said, it's Disneyland. It's like it's not real. But I like to know, I like to kind of be where the people are and kind of soak it all in as far as the culture and everything. But yeah, it's just an
I think
interesting thing.
also, Paul,
Like, yeah,
you
this is cool.
understand.
But then I'm like, hmm,
I
is
think you think you
this
understand also, Paul, is
will Puerto Rico's continue to have its
you have to understand also it is some areas are dangerous for tourists to go to Puerto Rico or Dominican or whatever you are. So that's why they
yeah
recommend the tourist sites instead. And
Right.
that's understandable because you don't know what's a good area or what's a bad
yeah
area. Same thing with Greece. Some areas are really bad. You need to stay out of that area. You don't know that from as coming from the United States. You don't
Right.
know that you're coming from a different country. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
right
You hear the good stuff about it. That's all
yeah
you hear.
yeah yeah. Yeah. But the thing you still got to remember in the back of
I
your
think what.
mind, though, this is still the United States. You know what I mean? This is still,
Yeah.
these are American citizens. This is USA.
Yep.
It's, you got the Puerto Rican flag, you got the American flag right next to it. And you can certainly see a lot of that U.S. influence. So even though, we've had no problem down here as far as, understanding. I speak a little bit of English, but I haven't had to use it. That you kind of have to get out of your mind also that these are U.S. citizens,
These
not
are American citizens.
so you're not in quote unquote a foreign country. Exactly. So you
Right.
got to keep that
And
in the
that's the
back of your
thing a
mind
lot
as
of
well.
people
But
get
to your
twisted.
point,
So the
Peter,
question I have
yeah,
now, and
yeah,
maybe I apologize. It sounds like I'm being stupid question here on my end. I do apologize if I offend anybody. Do they speak now? The first language is it
mhm,
English or Spanish over there? I'm curious.
It varies on what part of the island you go to. There's some parts where you're going to hear a good amount of English,
Hmm.
but I know in certain areas you're always going to hear a lot of Spanish and that's always been the debate
yeah. You go
about
to the
Puerto Rico because
yeah,
Puerto Rico is U.S. Commonwealth. It's a territory, and
yeah,
one
yeah.
of the benefits
Yeah,
that they have on the island is they pay no sale. They pay no income taxes. They have a good amount of benefits as they would on the mainland. The only difference is the only thing is they can't vote for president. They do have a governor that runs the Commonwealth. They do have someone that does represent them in the House, but they don't have that much of influence or power. And that's been the issue with Puerto Rico for a long time. Should Puerto Rico maintain their status as a Commonwealth? Should they become a U.S. state? Or should they become an independent country? Now, I've heard arguments about why Puerto Rico would benefit in becoming the 51st state. And I've heard arguments on why Puerto Rico can stand alone as its own independent nation. And every time it's come up to vote, they've never gotten enough votes in order for Puerto Rico to become a state. But also the number of individuals who've been voting for Puerto Rico for statehood has gotten higher and higher and higher every time the referendum's been on the ballot. And I know and I can tell you this, my sister-in-law is Puerto Rican. And some of my good friends also are Puerto Ricans. And they're very proud of their identity and their heritage. And the one thing they strongly fear if Puerto Rico ever becomes a U.S. state is their loss of their identity, like they'll be forced to speak English. And
Yeah.
if they speak Spanish, like it's wrong to speak Spanish. No, you have to speak English. And that's what
Right.
they worry about. And it's not just Puerto
Right.
Rico. It's the U.S. Virgin Islands, it's Guam, and it's American Samoa.
American Samoa. Yeah. Yeah.
A
Although
lot of those
English
places,
is right, English is taught in schools. It's part of a requirement. But again, it's like anything else. Until you're forced to speak it, like you're immersed in it, you're not going to pick it on. It's going to be like a lot of us took languages more in high school, but how many people really speak it unless you intentionally do so to force
right,
yourself into situations or submerge yourself in a culture where it kind of sticks and maintains with you. And just as far as voting for president, they can vote in the primaries like in the Democratic or Republican primaries, they can vote
right.
there. They just can't vote for U.S. president, like in the general election. So that I just want to make that distinction as well.
Well, I do know personally, I have a lot of friends who are Puerto Rican. CQ, for great example, who's been on the show, and I have this debate with them all the time, and a lot of them say make it a state, and think they're going to benefit them. If they want all the same rights, they should pay the taxes. They should be do as we do. I have never heard it should be independent. I don't think they're going to survive independent because something goes wrong. I think they're going to be screwed in the long run. That's my personal
Yeah,
opinion. Again, I have no room to say, and I do apologize if I offend anybody, but that is my personal opinion.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and I think being a state is going to benefit the states and Puerto Rico at the same time.
yeah,
So
yeah.
being a state, you're not going to lose your identity. You just gain a little more power overall.
Yeah, I mean, well, you mean you can look at like Hawaii. Did Hawaiians lose their identity becoming a state or territory in the U.S.? And and that could possibly be because it's off the mainland that they've been able to kind of maintain some of that. But I've known friends who've gone to Hawaii, and again, there's a certain U.S. presence there, especially the military and all that. You know
Yeah.
you're still in the United States when you're there, but is it going to be um, will that same thing? But again, there's so much. Like I said, if the corporations are down here, like I said, the exhibit, the amusement that you see here, I mean, clearly that's heaven. I mean, it's just like it's like a Disneyland down here for certainly for Puerto Ricans when they're to the island. You 15 minutes drive to get down into this area. And you have all these amusements, and then for the Americans, and there's a lot of Americans who come down here, and it kind of is like you don't kind of inch away from home. Like I said, I like getting into the cultural milieu of the place that I'm at, but certainly a lot of this is when you see zip lining, and they got like this huge screen that's like on the ceiling and it's playing videos and music and all this laser
Mm,
light kind of stuff that's going on. So again, it's like Americans are used to it. But is this the if but this is what when American companies decide to invest in a place, this is typically what happens. And so but again, everybody's there. They speak English because you're going to have a lot of American customers or things like that. So a lot of the wait staff and everybody is pretty fluent in English and everything. You go down even shopping in Old San Juan, all the stores the merchants, they're pretty good in English and everything because again, it's just people of all backgrounds and are just in these areas. So I know Puerto Rico is not dependent. I mean, tourism is big here, but the biggest thing, it's an industrial country. They make things, they export things. It's not just solely based on tourism down here.
Right.
But like I said, no question, you look around and it's very diverse, and people from all over the place come down, and it's not as hectic. Like I've been to Miami, and Miami's kind of hectic. You know what I mean? It's Puerto Rico's a little bit more laid back. It's a little more, But again, with all this American investment, though, it
Now,
could become a more chaotic place down the line.
is this Miami or Miami Beach? There's a difference.
Well, it's really down to like Miami, like with all the I guess the urban areas and urban centers and whatnot. It's not as chaotic, and it's in a lot of ways like San Luis is a lot smaller. I mean, so again, you don't get overwhelmed as much with all the people in the tourism and that sort of thing here. So
Okay, because
uh,
like
I do
Miami's
know one thing: a lot of Americans are moving to Puerto Rico to retire over time.
right,
yeah,
no state
yeah,
tax. So
yeah. I mean,
whatever they
especially,
bring, whatever they collect from their pension, they don't have to pay taxes on it.
yeah. And the guy was telling us, one of the drivers who brought us to our hotel, he said a lot of people came down here during the pandemic, and they were able to work down here. They were able to work remotely because of IT, and they just never came back.
Right.
So, so again, if you can land a job down here, it's tropical. I mean, yeah, it's 80. You're gonna get a rain shower daily down here, that sort of deal. But it's not a bad place. The water's gorgeous. I mean, it's just a nice place. But
The U.S. Virgin
but
Islands
guys,
is
yeah,
the same way. The
yeah,
U.S.
yeah,
Virgin Islands is the same way. I
yeah.
remember. I remember when I was at St. Thomas. I was on Island St. Thomas. There's one bar I went to was run by a retired cop from Chicago. Got
Mm,
divorced and everything else. Took some time. Went to St. Thomas. Spent some time there and everything. Like the place that he was at. The person was there for some time. He went back, finished his time, retired early. He had a very good relationship with his ex-wife and kids. Kids would visit him in the summer. Bought the bar,
mm,
ran the spot in St.
yeah,
Thomas. You go to St. and you'll be surprised how many people from the mainland, when you go to the Virgin Islands, most of them settle on either St. Thomas or St. John. You do have some that settle on St. Croix, but St. Thomas and St. John, you're going to find a lot of people that came from the mainland that live in there. The
yeah,
only challenge in the Virgin Islands is driving. Because even though it's a U.S. territory, it's a U.S. Commonwealth, they still maintain a lot of their old ties to the countries that they once colonized with, namely
right,
Denmark and Great Britain. So even though it's a U.S. territory and the cars have the steering wheel on the left side, they drive on the left side of
on
the
the right,
road. And that takes some serious adjustment. Like
yeah.
where Craig is at in the United Kingdom, they drive on the left side of the road and the steering wheel is on the right side of the car.
That's definitely true. And we do have
Yeah,
some left-hand drive cars, which are foreign cars.
gotcha,
Mm.
gotcha.
But in the U.S. Virgin Islands, steering wheel's on the left side, you drive on the
And you
left
drop
side
to the
of the
left.
road. And
Hmm.
That's crazy.
and I remember, and I tried it once.
It's
It's a
kind of
serious adjustment. But
It throws you off,
ironically,
doesn't it?
say again,
It throws you off, doesn't it?
it does.
Yeah.
But ironically, and people were surprised, I know how to parallel park on a one-way street on the left side.
Mhm.
And people were like, how the hell do you know how to do this? And I said, I actually took a car for a spin in the Virgin Islands, and it's the same setup
Some
there.
places in New York City, they're one-way streets, and sometimes you might have to park on the left or on the right, and so you got used to that as a New Yorker.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. Yeah.
it
Well,
is what
guys, I didn't want to. I literally just came on just to say hello. Obviously, I'm not going to stay long. But what were you guys talking about? I'm just logging on. So where's the verse? This is a versus show. So where are we? Who's winning? Who's
Money
losing? What's the
versus happiness.
right now.
okay?
Happiness is winning.
Happiness is winning. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll go with
yeah,
happiness.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
I feel like if you're happy, it's going to motivate you to make that money.
So, Paul, I'm going to ask you the next question because I know you don't have a lot of time. So, the next
Yeah.
question I was going to ask, would you stay in your job if you're miserable, but you making shitload of money and you're so happy, you all your financials, everything you want to do is paid for? vacations, new home, new car, jewelry, you name it. The queen's happy, but you're miserable at your job. Would you continue working there?
Probably, but the question is, you're saying you're saying that I'm miserable at my job, but all these other aspects of my life are taken care of. Like my happiness is not going to be tied to one place or destination. So it's to me, it's life is always is about choices and consequences, right? So again, if my thing is, it's based on, my values and whatnot, if my wife's taken care of, my kids are taken care of, those things that that it gives me avenue to really take care of my family and whatnot, a lot of times I don't care. But there is a moral standard though, right? I mean, let's say if I, like, for example, if I worked at like, here's a real, like, Philip Morris, right? Like, I worked in Virginia, like Richmond, Virginia, Philip Morris, that's where they make a lot of the cigarettes in. Now again, I got issues with smoking cigarettes. Now, would I want to work for a company that produces cigarettes? That could be a more dilemma, even if I was paid very well for what I'm doing. But I know that cigarettes are a big thing, and then we, certainly in the '90s, we found out that the cigarette companies knew about the consequences of smoking and all that. They hid the science and all that kind of stuff. They said, all that stuff was exposed. In fact, that Russell Crowe movie, I forget what it's called, but he kind of exposed all that. He was like a whistleblower, and he kind of blew that whole thing up. Would I feel good if I worked for a company that is doing things that I'm morally opposed to? That would really be the only thing that would affect my happiness, so to speak, with a job. Because again, my happiness is not based on the job I do. As long as it is moral, in other words, am I doing anything immoral? Is what I'm doing unethical? Or is it like, is the work environment such where I'm taking abuse every day? I'm being, discriminated against every day. But again, if I'm there, if I'm making money and whatnot, then I'm going to assume that the work environment is such, no one's trying to hold me down, and I'm balling a little bit and I'm making a good living. I probably would pick. I would stick with job. So like that idea of I hate my job. Like you would have to define what that is. Is it hate because of a moral dilemma that I have with the work that I'm doing? Is it hate based on my hierarchy structure, like my boss and my boss's boss and whatnot, and what they do? Those would have to be the factors that kind of weigh in. But like I said, getting my kids educated, getting making sure that my wife and everyone's taken care of. One of my parents were alive when I was taking care of them. I would probably say yes, because like I said, to me, I don't have this idea that the job has to pat me on the back. People take these surveys about job satisfaction and whatnot. I'm like, look, as long as you pay me for the work that I do and pay me well, I'm generally good. I don't need rewards. I don't need recognition. I don't need validation. Am I getting a good salary for the work that I produce? And usually I try to overproduce. Like my mantra for a lot of years is like, look, you're going to underpay me for what I do, because that's just a mindset. I just outwork. Like I hate if I feel like I'm not producing at the level that I should. I feel like I'm stealing money. That's always been my attitude. So my thing is, I want to get to it. In fact, the job I'm at now, when I interviewed, I told them my mindset is, you guys are going to underpay me. I told them that in the interview. You know, so that's
I gotta respect that. That's
so so
that's
so
real.
Yeah.
that's always been that's just a mindset that I just even if you hate me, you got to keep me. Because it's like we can't let him go. We can't let him go because he's balling too much or whatever. We can't let him go. Yeah, he's but
He's
we don't
too
like his attitude.
valuable.
Yeah, I try to be. I mean, obviously certain things are beyond my control, but that's just been a mindset of mine. So I don't care about the job, and I don't think there's things such as a perfect job. The perfect job is the one that I make perfect. So again, you would have to really define that hate thing. Like I hate going to work every day. You'd really have to crystallize that for me in a way that is so clear that yeah, I would have a moral dilemma in order for me to even
I agree
contemplate that
with that.
decision.
I agree with that.
So with the cigarette example, would you really have a hard time working for a cigarette company if they're
I
making?
would knowing, especially when that stuff came out in the '90s about the danger of cigarettes. the way they covered it up for all those years, for all those folks who, cancer. Now, again, I'm saying that people need to be responsible for their own actions. I get the fact that, you as a person, you need to know, like, if say smoking, it, increases. I would say this, you're like 15 times more likely to get lung cancer from smoking than if you don't smoke. That's scientific fact. Now, does that mean that it's not an 85% chance you're going to get lung cancer? It's like 15% if you get it. But certainly, if you don't smoke at all, that's the chances are reduced dramatically. So I get that piece. But again, you're producing a product that really doesn't benefit anybody. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what's the so again, I would have some conscious concerns about certain things. If I was at a job where again their business was something unethical, like here's another area. Which lately, I'm not saying, and again, I got no disrespect for the military and whatnot, but let's say if I work for a military contract, you know, what's that radon? What's the big weapons manufacturer? Oh, jeez,
There's so many, bro.
the one that makes the missile, the missile that the president was talking about, the one that was fired on those girls in Iran,
Ragnar Ringling or something like that.
Rayon or you know what I'm talking about?
Hey, Con, you remember? You're my military expert.
What's up? Say
What's
it
that?
again.
What's that missile that they bombed that school with the girls in it? What was that missile called? Because it's the one company that makes it, and it's only a U.S. But it's a U.S. weapons manufacturer.
Oh god, I think that was I'm trying to remember if that was
Raytheon,
Lockheed Ray,
Raytheon.
Raytheon.
Yeah. So that, like I said, just my sensibilities as of late, I could at least understand that being a problem with somebody. You're working for a weapons manufacturer, you're making weapons that delete people. Some people have no problem with it, say, look, this, defend the country and America and patriots and all that kind of stuff. Some people, if you're more pacifist or you think that war is wrong or the reasons why we go to war are wrong, you may come to a moral dilemma that says that, look, can I continue to work for a company that manufactures weapons that ultimately hurt people?
Most people
You
don't
know,
realize regular everyday companies are very involved in the military war machine.
yeah,
And when I tell people certain things, they look at me like I'm crazy. And I learned this stuff when I first went into the army. Perfect example. Some of the items that you see on our standard military rifle, the buttstock, the handguards, and everything else. Guess who designs those?
no, I did.
Mattel.
The toy company, yeah.
The
And that's the
same
thing
people
too.
that make Barbie.
And
How
that's the
many
same
people?
thing. A lot of these companies, like these conglomerates, like Kraft Morris, Philip Morris, they make Kraft cheese.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah. So if I buy a slice of cheese, I'm also towards cigarettes. So you're right. It does get messy when you have a lot of these entities, a lot of these corporate conglomerates. Yeah, they own one thing, but then they own something else. Right. So can you exclude yourself from the apparatus altogether? Unless you just want to again live on a farm by yourself and grow your own and just live off the land and live off the grid, in terms of not being part of the capitalist system. But just as I was saying earlier with the T-Mobile down here, you're part of the system. Yes, it's creating jobs, it's doing all these kind of things, but
Hmm.
T-Mobile, how to selling phones, where they're getting the minerals from. They're getting probably some mines in Africa and how those workers are being treated. You know what I'm saying? So you
The
so
only
you
pushback
can
I
get
got from people, the only little push up, it's not a bad push up. Uh, so all these like military companies or firearm companies, they donate a lot of money for research. Not only military research, like health research, like
Mhm.
for cancer and all this stuff. They donate a ton of money. Yes, there one bullet could take somebody's life, unfortunately, but the amount of ammo the military buys goes to some percentage going to research and
Yeah.
development, like from from heart conditions to whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. People don't realize like a lot of stuff that I think we lost Paul. But a lot of people don't realize, like a lot of these companies, like McDougal Douglas, Lockheed Martin. I actually dated a woman. I remember dating this one woman who got a job working for Northrop Grumman. Like a lot of these companies design not only a good amount of stuff for the military, but they do a lot of R&D work and other practicalities, and people will be surprised. And I tell them like, that's how it works. Perfect.
Yeah.
And the wildest thing people don't realize when it comes to the quote unquote war machine, there was an individual who did not like war, designed a weapon hoping that would encourage people to end and stop wars, but end up becoming one of the most successful inventors of that time. And you could be and I'm guessing you guys trying to figure out who the person is, correct? Dr. John Gatling, aka the Gatling gun.
And figures.
Seriously, he intentionally designed that weapon to be so powerful and destructive that he was hoping that countries would not use it. He profited it in more ways than one. And his design has been used in many ways. And there are different variations according to in his patent that's used by the U.S. military and a lot of their weapons. And the perfect example of his invention and as much damage it can cause is the A-10 Thunderbolt. And now here's the thing people don't realize. You don't build the weapon to fit the plane. You build the plane around the gun.
Yeah.
There's a reason why it's called the gun with wings. There's a reason why it's called the Warthog.
Yeah.
There's a reason why it's earned some of the craziest nicknames.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why we all know it as one simple name, the Tank Killer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when you see that barrel spin, you're not going to see the rounds come out until you hear a loud rip. And by the time it hits that, and one time you hear that loud rip sound, those are the rounds engaging the target.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't believe me, Peter, ask CQ.
Oh, I believe you. I don't need to. I've seen it.
So that gun, so even titanium, like it goes to titanium also, like there's no.
It is, like 30. Yeah, the rounds are that powerful, and that aircraft has been in service for well over 30 plus years, and they've been looking for ways to retire it. But it is so effective. They just kept updating the software. You can still, it doesn't need a lot of armor. You can damage one engine and it can still fly. All they kept doing was just update the software, and they put it back into service because it's that reliable. And the one thing I remember hearing stories of, it was supposed to retire after Desert Storm. When they realized it was still, when both the Army and the Air Force realized it was still effective, hell no, we're keeping these bad boys in service. 30 plus years later, still in service. And I've seen them in action during my time in service, during training runs. You don't want to be on the other side of that barrel when that hog squeals. I'm keeping it in a buck. And that's how, and people don't realize, like, just when you see it happen on video is one thing. When you're there in person and see it engage a target and that warthog squeals, I don't want to be on the other side of that. I don't want to be on the other side of that target. Seriously. That's how dangerous she is. And still effective, too.
Well said. So let's start getting our final thoughts. Anton, Greg, then Paul. All right, guys?
Okay. All right.
Let me get my setup here. Oh, wrong one.
All right.
There we go.
Okay. All right. My final thoughts. Right now, I'm kind of dealing with a situation. I'm glad I got a chance to come on. It's helping me as a great distraction. To Sean, if he's still there, thanks for the kind words and everything else. You too, Peter. You as well, Greg. Thanks. People always say, do they want to be happy or do they want to be rich? And I've always and at first I will say I want to be rich, but sometimes it comes with a price. And then I learn how to be happy. Because sometimes when you're happy, it helps your well being in more ways than one. Happy helps you live longer. Happy makes you make smarter and wiser decisions. Happy teaches you how to be grounded. Happy helps you learn how to make money. Because it's easy to say, I got to have all this, I got to have all that. But I feel like when you're happy, it helps you pace yourself towards that. Okay, this is my goal. Let me work towards it. Did I obtain it? Great. Can I challenge myself again and do it? Why not? And I feel like that's what happiness does. Because no matter what, you're always going to have to pay the bills are still going to be there. Reminders are going to have to be there, whether it's utility bills, your cell phone, a car note, maybe child support or alimony for whomever, things like that. And it's easy to feel like, and it's easy to be angry about it, so on and so forth. It's still going to be there. But if you don't take care of your overall well being, accomplishing that goal will be next to impossible. So focus on your well being. Start there. And when you do that, everything else will fall into place. And that's all I got to say. And those are some words we're thinking about. Thank you.
Personally, I would rather be poor and be happy with the people who love me and I love being around me than being rich and having no one around me. Because you know who your friends are if you're poor, but then being rich because you've got loads of gold diggers, you've got people who are after your money, all that sort of shit. So yeah, being poor and having happiness, I'd rather be. My wife's my happiness, my central place, my central being. So yeah, sorry, Peter. That's all I can say, brother. Peter.
Hey, I don't know if you guys still hear me. I'm having some internet issues here,
Yeah, we can still hear you, bro.
but yeah, I
I
didn't.
think
Like I
you're
said, I wasn't part of this. Okay, yeah, just really came up to say hi, guys, whatnot, just to support the show. But yeah, but it's certainly it's an age old question. I don't think one necessarily has to be a versus against the other. Certainly, no amount of money can be worth your sanity, your peace of life. But it does give you options. Like if I didn't have money, I couldn't be here where I'm at and sharing these experiences with my wife and things of that nature. So again, I think happiness in a lot of ways is an internal job, it's an inside job, and you need to do the things to make. But if you can maintain that, then adding money to it, I think certainly can enhance the experiences that you can have, and I think add to your overall happiness. But if this isn't right, you can be miserable, and we've seen people like that. My wife and I, we always commenting on when we go travel, and we see people. You're one of the chosen few who has the opportunity to take a lot of these trips and vacations. And I met some of the most miserable people on vacation. And so, the vacation had nothing to do with it or whatever. That, if the issue was what was going on with them, where their source of unhappiness was. So it doesn't matter. You could be in go to Hawaii. I mean, you have no idea how many people don't get the chance to travel to Hawaii, how expensive it is. We met a guy who went to Hawaii 6 times. And the last time he was coming back around, he was like, nah, it wasn't that big a deal. Where for most people, that's a dream. That's a bucket list issue to go to Hawaii. You had that privilege so many times. So again, people try to buy it, but you can't to be then traveling and having the ability to move and have mobility in the world. That could be a wonderful thing, and more importantly, you can share that with other people. Share with your wife, share with your kids, your family. Let them see the world and get perspective on the world. I think money is important when it comes to those things. So that's all I got. But again, you know, uh, certainly I'll be back. God willing, I'll be back on Thursday, and yeah, looking forward to getting back to the grind and whatnot. But enjoying the time that I'm here. But thanks for having me up, guys.
Thanks, guys, for coming up today. It was a pleasure. And as always, thank you for supporting the channel and helping us out. It always works out great when we work as a team. But let's do a quick schedule update. So for Friday, we are having the wrestling talk. Wrestling talk with the Spartan will be on the air. Then on Saturday, yes, Saturday. Where are you, Saturday? Me and Anton are going to be talking, and Paul, of course. We're talking about martial art actors versus martial art fighters. That should be an interesting conversation. And we are having a gray area. And next week, Street Smart versus Book Smart. So which one wins in the real life? So accept that, guys. As always, I am the Spartan. He is my man, Anton. Greg is in the bottom.
Big
Mr.
up.
President. As always, stay fresh, stay safe. See you guys
Out.
the next one.
Yeah, we're going to be safe.